it's a world that goes on inside your DS, and it's linked to the date, the time. You play in the morning, it's morning. You play in the fall, it's fall in the game. You know, the animals have lives. They're wandering around. Actually, I'm going to just start up really quick before I start talking. Wake up my character. I'm the only one living in my town. So you only see one bed here, but you can have 4 people living on the same game card. And if all of us lived on the same game card, you guys would all be sleeping in the other beds, and I would just poke my guy to wake him up. And then you guys would sleep basically while I ran around town doing whatever I wanted to do. So before I do anything else, I'm actually going to run up and open my gate and let some of the other treehouse members in, just so you guys can see what's going on. Remember what I said about the clock being correct? The clock on this capture unit is obviously not correct. Otherwise, it's a really, really dark day.
You've been here longer than this.
All right, let's just go in here. Besides some of the other points that I'll get to in a second, the biggest thing about this game, and it really is huge, is your ability to have other people come to your town in real time and hang out. Up to 4 people can be in town at any given time. And it's basically the same whether or not you're going wirelessly, which I'll be doing here, or going over the internet. You go to your gatekeeper, who goes through his little rigmarole about security and whatnot. So I'm going to invite guests. It's basically as simple as this. You open your gate if you want to invite guests, or you go out if you want to go out. So here he tells you that you can go DS to DS, or you can go Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. So I'm just going to go DS to DS and open it up. And if these guys, if they wander in, they wander in. And if they don't, they don't. But I'm just going to open it up and wander around my own town. Okay. And again, those of you guys who have played it on the GameCube know that it was really awesome to visit other people's towns, but it could be sort of a chore sometimes. I mean, you had to stick the memory card in, and you travel by train. This is infinitely easier, just a couple button presses. And unlike Mario Kart, there's no way over Nintendo Wi-Fi connection for just random people to storm into your town. You're not connecting to rivals. You are only connecting to friends in this game. It's very easy to register them. You can do it by getting their friend code and just inputting it into your DS. Or you can do it by playing wirelessly with them, and then you just get a little menu where you just tap on that character and it says, oh, you want to register? Oh, I got a visitor. You say you want to register this person, and then they'll automatically be in your friend roster. Oh, nice get up. There's Bobo. Nice hat. Something else that's new about this game, remember in the old one, you could basically have a t-shirt and a hat that matched at all times. Those are all the outfits. All kinds of accessorizing that goes on in this game. Now you have tons of accessories in the game. Then you have designed t-shirts. You can wear hats. You can wear eye patches. I'm wearing a hero's mask and a hat. Oh, somebody else is coming in too. Please come in, visitor. They each obviously get announced as they come in, and the game is saving this data. If you end up getting people in your town that you then end up hating, because maybe they start chopping down your trees or something like that, if you're the host, you can just start kicking them out. There's an option to do that. So you're not, once you open your gates, it's not like you're totally at the mercy of your annoying friends who think it's really funny to write dirty emails to the animals in town. You can boot them out.
Can you still teach
Yes, that is funny.
What's that?
Can you still teach NPCs catchphrases and whatnot?
Oh, yeah. Basically all the stuff that you love from the first one is here, except in spades. I mean, you're going to have NPCs. Again, they have their own lives, so they'll have catchphrases of their own, but then they'll also, they'll want to learn new catchphrases. You can teach them greetings. So, and again, they can be as polite or as not polite as you want.
Does it have that the speech synthesis that the GameCube version had?
Sorry, say again?
The speech synthesis, where you could choose it would
like
sort of
animalese.
animalese.
Yeah. You can, like when you're typing, it's like
Does it have that?
Yeah.
Sort of
Oh yeah, that's totally in there.
Yeah, because I found they said some words really well.
Yeah, it's.
I'm not going to say anything. I'll tell you later.
No, it's exactly the same as that. One of the cooler things, Ricardo, that I wanted to just expand on is while you're going to be teaching the other NPCs things, and they have their own lives, and they're just as funny and well, hopefully as charming as in the last one. They really have more lives in this one now. I mean, they'll have friends in town. They'll have enemies. You'll go up and talk to them, and they'll name another animal that's just really been chafing them recently. And did you ever in the old one where you walk up on two animals talking and they'd be like talking to each other, and then one would walk off and be all angry and the other one would be sad, and you'd be like, what happened between those animals? Now you actually see those conversations. So you bump into two guys talking, and they'll be saying, well, what would you rather be, like a ninja or pirate? And the other guy's like, oh, pirate, definitely. And they're like, what do you think, Nate? And you know, you have this whole 3-person conversation that goes on. And speaking of chatting, you can see these guys are actually chatting in town here. And it couldn't be easier. You know, the first game was awesome, but it was definitely limited by the GameCube controller. This little thing is amazing. I mean, if I want to get my fishing rod, I'm just going to drag it onto my dude over here. When you sell things at the store, you're just dragging them all up into the store inventory. If I want to, let's see, tap on my little pencil here, I can go into my designs. I can check my fish. I can check the map. I can do this little chat bubble and be like, oh, hey. Oop. I don't need punctuation. Then you just post that and it'll appear on everybody else's screen. It's actually kind of cool. If they're indoors, they won't see it. So it's sort of like when you're chatting, it's like you're shouting outside. So anybody who's inside in your town isn't going to hear it. They can't hear it through the walls, something like that. When other people are in your town, your NPCs go inside and hang out, and so you can go and hang out with them. And again, people are going to come to your town. They're going to want to take your fruit. They're going to want to send mail from your post office to the local animals. And all the sort of sharing that went on in the GameCube version is alive and well in this one as well. I think the term we're using is data packets. Basically, every time you communicate with someone else, they have a chance that they're going to be bringing something back with them. Maybe one of your NPCs is going to move over there. Maybe with a design, is going to go over to your town. It's I thought it was one of the cooler features to kind of run it. I mean, I booted up my GameCube version a number of times while we were localizing this one, and I'd run into NPCs who still had letters from people who I hadn't seen for years, and just like, oh, this is the weirdest letter that somebody wrote for me. And it was probably something horrible, but it was like it's cool that sort of they have lives and they remember forever and will move. Now that we can go over the internet, they're going to move all over the world from DS to DS, which I think is just a really, really cool idea. Let me just show you a couple other things really quick.
How bad can you mess up somebody's town?
Oh, you can mess up somebody's town really bad. We don't do that here. I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm just using the stylus to steer him around. You can use conventional controls all you want. If you, for some reason, hate your stylus, use your D-pad, use the A button. It's basically the same GameCube controls. You can type as slow as you want if you want. But me, I use the stylus. Whoa, oh, man, who did that? Somebody thought it would be funny to plant a pitfall in my town. That's not that.
The entire game using the stylus without any.
Absolutely. So I'm going to remove my equipment. Yeah, so what's your ordinary day? You go around and shake trees, tap on the tree. There you go.
Do you have any new buildings in town versus the GameCube game?
Well, actually, I think that's Katrina's tent, somebody's tent up there.
Museum.
Yeah, well, basically the museum has been expanded. So you have the museum, which collects the same stuff, painting, fish, insects, and fossils. It's a lot easier process. Number one, there are more fish and insects and everything, but fossils now get identified by blathers immediately instead of, you remember how you had to send them through the mail and wait? You don't have to do that anymore. You immediately show them to blathers. Upstairs is his sister, Celeste, who actually, you can go up there and design constellations for your night sky. You can see up here in this night sky that we don't have any up there right now, but not only is the phase of the moon going to be accurate, I don't know if it is right now because of the clock on this thing, but you can actually trade constellations as well between towns. That's one of the data packets that'll go. So you can name them. And if you talk to Celeste, she'll be like, oh, yeah, that's EGM. Oh, that's really, that's the name of that constellation, and it was designed by Ricardo. That sort of thing. A lot of cool details for the constellations. Then downstairs is the cafe. It's run by a new NPC named Brewster, who's a pigeon who serves you coffee with a very special ingredient in it. That's where you'll go to see KK Slider perform on Saturdays. You'll also run into a lot of special NPCs there that you'll it's kind of cool. You get a glimpse of their lives outside of their ordinary jobs. You never would ordinarily see them in there, but
Trash.
are they wrecking? This place is filthy. What?
Somebody brought garbage, I think.
Don't dump garbage in my town. There's also another very important place is the town hall, which is where the post office is located. And one of the most important, you can go there and change the town tune and stuff like that. What's also important, though, is that you can go there to move. If you started out on somebody else's game card and you want to get out, you can through the post office.
Oh, you can move to a new.
Yes.
Does that then also move you to a brand new town, or just copy the town as is?
No, you're moving to a new town, I believe. I think. Yeah, I haven't moved yet out of this town, but it's not. You're not going to a town that's been made over. It's a new game basically. I got a lot.
What about, obviously you can't use the e-reader, so download content like that stuff?
Download content. You mean from the?
Patterns, songs, all that jazz.
Will the
No.
codes still work? Like, could you type in like a Tom Nook code to get a pattern?
You know, I don't think so. I don't think there are codes in this game. And correct me if I'm wrong back there in the corner, but there aren't any codes with Tom Nook, are there? No. This is going to be. You're going to get new patterns basically by going over the internet or going over wireless play.
Hey, one of the most popular features in the original were the unlockable NES games. Is that something that's been brought back to this?
There are no NES games in this. And there are a ton of different events that are going to be going on in town. I mean, you guys probably remember that there was a lot of stuff married to specific things. You know, on Thanksgiving there was the Harvest Festival and stuff like that. There are a lot of events in this game, but they're no longer going to be specifically married to regional holidays. We really wanted to make this more of a, especially since we're going to be playing over the internet, we wanted to make this more of a global game. So while you're going to see a lot of events, they're going to be much more Animal Crossing world-based events. They're, again, it's the sort of the illusion that there's a world in there that's going on, whether or not you're in there. But there'll be fishing festivals and stuff like that.
So what do you do for like the Australian people who, summer is winter here, summer there?
Man, I don't know. Australia?
So I mean, like, when they're playing in Australia, is it going to be, in the summer, is it going to be summer?
That's a very good question, Craig. I'll have to look into that. I don't know the answer to that. We haven't talked to Australia. They're probably looking at our translation right now, just like, oh, how do we localize this? I don't even know when it's launching in Australia, to be honest. But I'll look into that and get back to you.